Hello guys, welcome to this lesson, and in this video we're going to create a custom component, some banner, and we're going to apply the theme for this component. So let's get started. First of all, let's generate the component for it, and I'm going to use the Angular CLI, so I will run the command ng generate component with the name banner, then I will skip tests, and with parameter model I say the Angular CLI to automatically include this component into app model declarations. And I hit enter, and you can see that my banner component has been generated, and inside the app model we see the banner component has been added to the declarations array. So here is how looks our banner component. Here is also banner component styles. Those are styles which are responsible for pretty much everything except the colors and font styles, because those two belong to the theming styles. And those theming styles we're going to store in some separate file, which is name of component, but it has the suffix scss-theme and extension scss. You can give any name you like, but I stick to this naming convention because in VS Code your style will be placed next to each other. I find it quite convenient. But before we start to write any theming styles, we have to create some template, right? So let's jump to banner component HTML file and create some basic template. So here will be h5 tag, which kind of heading, and it will have the text node, and inside the paragraph we will render some message, the property which we're going to create in a minute. And those elements will have its own class. So for paragraph it's going to be the message class, and for our h5 element there will be a heading. Cool, and now let's go to our TS file and create this input for this message property. So now I will go to our component styles, which are, I call it functional styles, and to my host element I will apply some padding, box sizing, and I want to have some border radius there. Besides this, I want to add some font size for heading and also for my message. If you remember, I mentioned that typography doesn't belong to the functional styles. It is true. We will refactor this later in the lesson about the typography and how to configure it, but for now let's leave it there. And of course we have to render this component somewhere, right? So I will go to our app component HTML, and there somewhere inside the content I will render my app banner. And maybe let's add some message, so this component will get their own theme. Now let's go and check. Alright, so far so good. Our component has been rendered. Let's investigate a little bit the elements, and alright, we see that we forgot to make our app banner as a block element. By default it's inline, so let's go back and add the display block property. So now it looks better, and we are ready to create the theme for this component. So I'm going to navigate to banner component SCSS theme, and first of all I have to import all functions, mixins, which I will be using here from Angular Material Theming by using the @rule use. And then I will create a mixin which will generate the theme for this particular component. You can name your mixin whatever you like, but I prefer to follow the convention when your name consists from the name of the component and the suffix theme. And of course this mixin will take as an argument the theme, which we will pass a little bit later. And first of all, I would like to fetch the color config from my theme. So I will be using the mat_get_color_config function. And basically this function just checks if the theme has the legacy syntax. It will return the same, the theme as it is. Otherwise, it will return everything under the key color. So in the end, inside the theme colors variable, we will get this whole colors and its palettes. After this, you will be able to fetch, as example, the success color palette by using the built-in into the Sass language map_get function. So basically, you will get the color which you defined right there inside the styles SCSS file. So this is where this success color comes from. And now from this success color palette, I can already fetch the exact color variant which I need. I hope you remember that every color has its own palette where you can fetch the darker variant, lighter variant, default variant, and so on. And for this, I will be using the mat_color_helper function, which takes as an argument the color palette, and by default, it returns the default color for this palette, which has index 500, if you remember this. But if you need another variant of this color, you can define this as a second argument for this function. In my case, it's going to be a lighter variant. Also, this function has the third parameter, which is responsible for opacity, but for this particular case, we don't need it. And now we need to write some styles and apply them to our component. And as a selector, I will choose the application component selector, which is in my case app-banner, this one, right? And I will just add some background color to my application banner component. Cool, our very basic theme is ready, and now we need to somehow include these styles into our application. Unfortunately, we cannot do this inside the style URLs like we did it for banner component CSS files, because we will not have access to our configured theme. So we have to import these styles in our styles SCSS file. So I go there, and right next to material theming import, I'm going to import also my banner component SCSS theme and define the namespace as a banner. And there, a little bit below, I will include our app banner theme, which we created just a few seconds ago, and path our workshop theme as a parameter for this mixin. And now if we go and check our application, we see that our banner got this nice light gray color and everything works as we expect. You can, of course, change your color. As example, we can change success color to the info, and we will get the nice light blue background. Yeah, do you see? But yeah, I will go back and revert it for now. And the last remaining thing is about this selector, which we used here, app banner. But there is another way how to achieve it. So basically, you could use the host binding in order to apply some class to the host element of your component. So you can do it like this, and then in your theme already rely not on the app banner element, but on the class app banner. And as you can see, it works absolutely the same. So here is our app banner was attached, and already to this class was applied some style, some background color. So this is just another way. I know Angular Material Library does this approach, but I prefer to rely on the element name rather than class, because usually you don't change the name of your components so often, so it's quite convenient and safe, and you don't need to introduce host binding for every component which has to support theming. But of course, in the end, everything is up to you. Okay guys, thank you for attention. In next video we'll proceed with component theming, so see you there.